Hi guys, I'm Richard and this is Overtino, and today we're going to be going to Universal Studios in Japan, and we've got a little hack for you to get a free fast pass, so make sure you watch till the end. We have just arrived in Osaka. We came on the bullet train from Hiroshima in the last episode. If you missed that one, check it out, it's a great episode. But this one is all about Universal Studios. I'll explain the best way to get tickets, show you which rides we went on, and of course I'll explain how to get the free fast pass, which I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube talk about, and it's for you and anybody in your group, so it's a really good trick if it works for you. So we're going to get checked into the hotel, drop our stuff off, and then we'll skip ahead to tomorrow morning when we go straight to Universal. We booked our tickets through a third party called Klook. I don't have any affiliation or sponsorship with them, but it was way easier to book with them than to try and book direct with Universal, and you still get the tickets direct in the Universal app. Also worth mentioning that we just paid for the standard tickets. It varies depending which day you go on how much the ticket will be, but we didn't pay for any upgrades like the fast pass or the timed entry. However, we did get both of those once we were inside Universal, and that's without paying anything extra, so I'll explain both of those in the video. As you can see, while I've been talking, we've been on our way and we're almost at the gates for Universal. Now, one of the worst kept secrets of this is that it opens about an hour before what it says on the website. So if it says it's going to open at 9 AM, they usually open the gates at 8 AM. And as you can see, everybody else knows this as well because there's hundreds of people there waiting already. So still expect to queue for a while, but there is a great reason to get there before the gates open officially. And that is to get a timed entry slot for Super Nintendo World. This is the only part of the park where you need a timed entry for it, so as soon as you're in there, if you open up the app with your tickets on, you should be able to book a place for free. Make note, you can only do this once your ticket has been scanned at the gate, so make sure you do it as soon as you get in there. You can also head straight to Super Nintendo and you don't need the timed entry before the official opening time. However, a lot of people do this, so we're going to head over to Hogwarts first, and then we've already got our timed entry booked for Super Nintendo in about an hour's time. We've just been on the main ride at Hogwarts. This is one of the ones that is typically queued up, but we pretty much just walked straight through with the flow of people and got on the ride, so that was pretty good. The ride itself was great actually. I couldn't take any footage of it, but you were strapped in and you were sort of going through Hogwarts, and it was all in Japanese, so we don't really know what the story was, but you're switching between augmented reality and then like physical things in front of you. So it's pretty cool, like the transition between the two was pretty smooth. But I do feel a little bit dizzy after that, so we're going to have a walk around Hogsmeade, get some fresh air, and then we'll head over to Super Nintendo because our slot is quite soon. We've made it over to Super Nintendo World. This is the bit that I am most excited to see. There was a little bit of a queue, but not too bad, and we had our timed entry anyway. Over here you can buy an additional wristband, I think it's called a power-up band, that you can use once you're inside Super Nintendo World to find different hidden stars and things like that. Now they're pretty expensive, I think they're about £40 or $50 roughly, so it's quite a lot on top of the ticket you've already paid for. I suppose if you've got kids with you, it's probably worth doing, but we didn't bother because there's still loads to do and you don't really need it for most of the rides. As you can see, once you get inside, it's literally like walking into a video game. Really cool, especially if you played those games like in the 90s like I did. We've had a quick look around, but there's no time to waste because there's a few rides we need to get on. So the first one we're going to head over to is in Bowser's Castle. And I thought this was just a cool looking entrance for the ride, but once you go inside, there's actually loads of different rooms that are fitted out like the interior of the castle would be. That's pretty cool. So there was a decent sized queue, but while you're queuing, you can take all this in as you make your way to the ride. And the ride that we're queuing for is probably the most popular one in Super Nintendo World, and it's Mario Kart. Now, you're not in your own individual kart, you go in there, you get put into teams of 4, and you're all given a little Mario type visor to wear that allows you to see and shoot things as you're going around. It's really immersive, and you're battling against other teams of 4 that are going around the ride at the same time as you. Now, like I said, it's the most popular ride, so you're probably going to wait for a little bit, but it's well worth the wait. And you get to see your results at the end. Our team won. I think we both wanted the ride to go on a bit longer after the amount of time we'd queued, but it's still well worth it and loads of fun. So now that we've completed the ride, we're going to head back out of the castle and see what else is in Super Nintendo World. The Hogwarts ride and the Mario Kart one were the 2 main rides that we were bothered about going on, so we've made sure to do those first, get them out of the way. And there's a couple of cool places to eat in Super Nintendo World. So while we're here, we're going to have a look and see what we can get. And we've decided to come to Yoshi's Snack Island, where they've got a few different things you can get, but the most interesting one is this green shell, like a Yoshi shell, that is full of yakisoba and cheese. And they're absolutely delicious. I say that about everything we've eaten, I think, on this trip, but this one was one of the best things that we ate, even though it's a little green shell from a takeaway place. And bear that in mind for later in the video, because that might have been one of the things that helped me get the free Fast Pass later on in the day. But for now, we're still in Super Nintendo World, and you can only leave once, you can't get back in. So we're going to meet some of the characters and go on another ride, and then we'll head elsewhere in the park. We've made it onto our 3rd ride of the day, and it's a bit more of a chilled one, so I'm able to get a bit of footage of this, and it's quite nice after eating all those Yoshi buns as well. This ride's mainly outside, and you're high up above Super Nintendo World looking down, and it's a great sunny day, so a nice one to experience. Feels like you're going through those retro Mario levels, and there's stuff to do on the way, but it's a proper family-friendly one. Nothing too crazy compared to some of the other rides that are here. There are other things to do in Super Nintendo World, but I think we've covered everything that we wanted to do here, and we're only here for a day, so we want to see the rest of the park. So we're going to wrap it up in here, and then we'll head into the main park, where I'll explain what rides we went on in there, and then I will reveal how we got the free Fast Pass, because we didn't actually get that until we went into the main park after Super Nintendo later in the day. Although I do think if you knew about this when you first arrived, there's a chance you could get one earlier and make more use of it than we did, but I'll explain that afterwards. So for now, we'll say goodbye to Mario and Princess Peach, and we'll head into the main park of Universal Studios. In case you didn't know, this video is part of a series across Korea and Japan. We've already been to the North Korean border, we've been to Seoul in South Korea, we've been to Hiroshima in the last episode, and now we've come into Osaka, where we're visiting Universal Studios. We're going to see more of Osaka in the next episode in the city centre, and then we're going to go on to see Kyoto, Mount Fuji, and Tokyo. There's so much to see in each place, so if you're interested in the rest of the series, please subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up. But for now, let's get back to the video. So we've left Super Nintendo World and we're on our way to a Jurassic Park ride, and we've just happened to stumble across this dinosaur parade by chance on the way to the ride. But we're not going to stick around too long because we want to get to the next ride, which is the Flying Dinosaur, which is a proper roller coaster. It's not like the last ride that we went on. It has a pterodactyl at the front of the ride, leading all of the carts around, And we just so happened to get really lucky and we got seats on the front row, which was great. It made it the best ride of the day, easily. After this, we went on a Minions ride that I don't have any footage of, but it was like a 3D cinema where it's as if you've been shrunk down to the size of a minion. It was okay, but probably my least favourite ride of the day. And after that, we saw a performance in the main square, and then we headed on to Jaws. And the Jaws ride was really great. We went out on the water, it was a nice sunny day. Again, like the Harry Potter one, it was all in Japanese, but we sort of got the drift of what was happening. And after that, we decided to get a drink and a little snack before going on the next ride. We shared a Squirtle churro, and I also got a Pikachu bao bun. Again, both delicious. And we enjoyed these in the line for the next ride, which had a really long queue. The longest queue of the day, in fact, and this was a backwards ride called Hollywood Dream. And this is where I got the fast pass, so I'll explain the story now. Like I'd mentioned, we queued up for a long time. You can see people starting the ride off as you're waiting, and I noticed there was a lot of empty seats that were happening, even though there's so many people waiting. So anyway, we'll fast forward to us getting to the front of the queue. So we finally got there, got in our seats, got strapped in. And for the benefit of the people who don't know, I'm 6'4", so quite tall and way above the average in Asia. And they removed me from the ride for being too big for the seat, which had happened to a handful of other people as well. So I was escorted off the ride to the side by one of the staff and taken to an area where the staff were still really friendly and apologetic. And they said they would give me something as an apology. Now at first they gave me some stickers, some Elmo stickers that said, "It's my first visit." And I thought that was it at first, but then they returned and they asked how many people were in my party. So I told them there were 2 of us, but they were giving it to other people who had groups of like 4 or 6 or whatever. And they gave everybody in the group a fast pass. So Jade still got to enjoy that ride, and we ran back to Flying Dinosaur straight to the front of the queue and had another go on that ride using the fast pass. So, of course, it's not as simple as walking in there and picking up a free fast pass, but if you've got somebody tall with you, maybe try going to that ride first, and if they'll take one for the team, everybody in your group will get a fast pass to use later in the day. So if you use it wisely, you can get on a ride that's got a huge queue with the free fast pass, which is pretty good for free, especially if you have a large group or kids with you. Although part of me does think that I might have just managed to squeeze on that ride if I didn't have too many Yoshi buns and Pikachu pizza. But all in all, an amazing day. I really don't think you need the fast passes or any of the extra stuff if you plan wisely. If you're going as a couple or a small group, I think one day is enough to see Hogwarts, Super Nintendo, and get a feel for the park as well. If you've got kids or a bigger group, maybe you want to spread it over a couple of days, which you can do. And for now, we're going to head back to our hotel. Tomorrow we're going to explore Osaka, which will be the next episode, and there's still loads of amazing stuff to come from the trip, so here's a little sneak peek of future episodes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you want to keep up with the rest of the series, make sure you subscribe, and you should be able to watch 1 or 2 of the videos somewhere on the screen here, or maybe over here. And until then, see you next time.